The third day of the funeral was unbearable. The first day had been a blur of people, neighbors, relatives, friends. They came with murmured condolences. Their presence, a kind of pressure, a hollow comfort. The second day brought silence, a heavy, suffocating quiet that pressed down on the walls and floors like dust settling in the corners. But the third day was something else entirely. It was the day the son realized she was truly gone. He sat at the kitchen table, staring at a mug of tea gone cold. The same table where she had hummed while chopping vegetables, where her hands moved in quiet grace, where the ordinary moments of life had once seemed so insignificant and now were unbearable in their absence. He pressed his palms to his face. He felt so hollow. He felt untethered. Every creak of the floorboards, every tick of the old clock, each shadow cast by the afternoon sun reminded him of what he had lost. He wanted to scream, to call her name, to rip the walls apart until she returned. But the house held only silence. He wandered through the rooms like a ghost. He touched picture frames, lingered on doorways, imagined her presence in the air itself, and each imagined breath made the reality hit harder. The emptiness was unbearable. Finally, he found himself in her bedroom. The curtains were half drawn, letting in pale, lifeless afternoon light. Dust motes floated like tiny suspended memories, mocking him with their slow, indifferent drift. Her quilt still smelled faintly of lavender, but it was fading like everything else. He collapsed onto the bed, pressing his face into her pillow, desperate for her touch, for any sign she still existed. His hands trembled, his body shook with sobs he could not stop. He wanted to disappear. He wanted to disappear into the fabric, to melt into the scent of her, to erase himself from a world that had taken her. That's when his gaze fell on the drawer half open, like it had been waiting for him. Inside were keepsakes, notebooks filled with neat handwriting, photographs curled with age, trinkets she had saved over the years, and beneath them, an envelope addressed to him. His name, written in her hand, made his heart catch. He froze. The date, nearly a decade old, made the world tilt under him. He gripped it with trembling hands. His breath came in short, ragged gasps. Part of him wanted to throw it away, to avoid the inevitability of feeling her absence even more sharply. Part of him wanted to open it immediately, desperate to touch her again in any way possible. Finally, he broke the seal. "My dearest son," the letter began. Her handwriting pulled him back to his childhood, to the warmth of small, hidden notes she left in lunchboxes, on counters, under pillows. If you are reading this, it means I am no longer beside you. I hope many years have passed, that life has been kind to you. But grief never fades entirely. It lingers. Please, breathe before you continue. He gasped, tears already blurring his vision. I wrote this not for the boy I held, but for the man you would become. I cannot know your struggles, your triumphs, your failures, but I do know one truth. Life can be cruel, and it can be lonely, but love is never truly lost. It only changes form. When my voice no longer reaches you, I will still be there, in the sound of rain against the window, in the warmth of soup in winter, in laughter shared with others. I am there, always. The sun pressed the letter to his chest, his body racked with sobs. He felt as though his heart might shatter from the sheer weight of absence, the unbearable reality that the person who held him together was gone forever. The letter tore open doors in his mind. He remembered being 5, struggling with shoelaces, and her patience as she knelt beside him. He remembered her standing over the simmering pot, smiling as he stole tastes, unaware how much love she poured into small, unnoticed acts. He remembered her sitting beside him during storms, whispering, "I'm here." He remembered every time he argued with her as a teenager, ungrateful and impatient, and how she simply smiled, saying, "One day you'll understand." Now he understood, but the understanding came as a hammer to his chest. How had he not known sooner? How could life be so cruel to take her? "I am so proud of you," she wrote. "Even if you stumble, even if you feel broken, you have always been enough. The world may be harsh, but you soften it by simply existing. If your shoulders feel too heavy, step outside and look at the sky. Do you see how wide it stretches? That is how wide my love for you is. How endless my faith in you will always remain. If you feel truly alone, press this letter to your chest. You will feel my heartbeat mingle with yours." And then the final line, "With love that never ends. Mother." He wept openly, the letter trembling in his grasp. The grief that had lain dormant for 3 days surged like a storm tide, overwhelming him. He imagined her voice, felt her hands, heard her laughter, but all he could do was cry. And then, at the very corner of the page, in a faint pencil, almost invisible, he found her last hidden message. "If you ever find this too late, remember, the world still has wonders you cannot imagine. I am with you in every unexpected moment. It was as if she had known he would need her most now, after her death, and left a whisper of hope for him to stumble upon when despair threatened to consume him entirely. He realized, even in death, she had orchestrated a lifeline, a bridge back to life itself. From that day, he carried the letter with him everywhere. In moments of loneliness, of hopelessness, he pressed it to his chest and felt her presence flood through him. The letter had been written for the man he was, the man he would become, and the boy he had always been. Her love transcended time, grief, and death itself. And that night, staring at the stars, he whispered into the cold sky, "Do you see how endless? That's how endless my love for you will always be." For the first time, he felt something heavier than grief, presence, continuity, and the unshakable reality of a mother's eternal love. Even in despair, even in loss, life had found a way to remind him that love survives.